Welcome back. We have an update from Eloro Resources, trades on the OTCQX under the symbol ELRRF and on the TSX under the symbol ELO. It's an exploration and mine development company with a portfolio of gold and base metal properties in Bolivia, Peru, and Quebec. Happy to welcome the VP of Corporate Development, Chris Holden. Welcome back, Chris. We're looking forward to your update today.
Thanks. It's great to be back. It's an exciting time to be in the precious metals market, and we think we've got tons of catalysts coming up in the next few months here. That's really going to take this story to the next level. We've come out with some fantastic drill results. Lots of things happening in Bolivia, and we're encouraged by what we see as moving forward towards our economic assessment, which will be Q1 next year. So for those of you that don't know the story, we've started drilling in the property in 2020. It is our sole focus within the organization, even though we have other assets. It's a capital allocation decision where $100 of capital, whether it's going into our Peru assets or this, we're always going to put it into this because we think this is one of the best discoveries in Bolivia in the last 200 years. And I would argue one of the best discoveries of a greenfield property in the last 10 to 15 on a global basis. So came out with an initial resource in September 2020. We started drilling in 2020. We came out with a resource in October of 2023. And ever since that time, we've been focusing on infill drilling for really to get to improve the grade within that resource and to build upon that larger area within that resource that will be our initial starter pit. So if I'm going to flip a little bit here. If you want to look at the red circle within this diagram, the first thing you kind of see is the size on this. It's 2 kilometers by 2.4 kilometers. It is a substantial deposit. And what we've been focused on essentially since 2024, late 2023, is infill drilling within that red circle. And we feel we can get to 150 to 180 million tons at 35 to 40 grams silver, 1.5% zinc, and 0.5% lead. We haven't even talked about the tin yet. We still think we can get another, high grade that tin portion to around 40 to 50 million tons at a 0.3 to 0.4% tin, which would base it one of the largest tin discoveries over the last 20 years in terms of grade and tonnage. But even when we're doing that, there's other areas outside of that circle that we haven't even touched yet. So when we're talking about how enthusiastic we are in the organization about growing this deposit just beyond what it is right now, that's going to come after the PEA because what we're really focused on right now is grade. But there's other areas like the Domo San Juan and the Porco Ad and all those areas surrounding that we haven't even touched yet. So when you say there's opportunities beyond what we've done now, there certainly is. And just for an example, what we think is going to happen over the next 6 months is that we're going to come up with that resource update by year end. And that's when I talked about the 180 million tons, getting to that level, getting that grade up. We do also have to deal with the land and getting 100% ownership on that. The original deal was for 10 million US. We have 1.15 left to deal. We have till January 6th of next year, but we certainly want to deal with that. Our relationship with the landowner is fantastic. Edwin has been supportive. He helps out with a lot of, road construction to the site, drill bay constructions, all that stuff. He's been fantastic. And we certainly, he's allowed us to defer some of the payments, but really at this point, we want to get 100% into this property because, as we talk to other corporates, as we talk to strategic interests, as we talk to trading partners, they're all kind of waiting around not only for the resource, but for us to have like 100% control of the property. So that will be done by year end. And then when we jump to next year, we're hoping to have our PEA out by the end of Q1. And so it's a challenge for us to really talk about how economic this deposit is in right before a PEA. My job in the organization is to run numbers, and I can tell you that when we initially started drilling the property, silver was $22 an ounce. We're well above that now, and it made money at $22 an ounce. So you can fathom how the returns on this property can be at 50 grams silver. We don't talk about it too much. We're also in our initial phase of doing ESG reporting from a third party through the TINOS organization, because we feel that as things move along, it's going to be more important to show how we've got our social license to operate in the country. And speaking of what's happened in the country, we are extremely pleased with the results coming out of the election on October 19th. The fact that it was a civil, there was very little disruption, that President Paz coming in will be a strong proponent of mining within the country. It's not to say that Bolivia is a challenged economic country. Mining is the largest source of revenue in the country, and San Cristobal mining, that is now that was formerly Sumitomo, is the largest tax provider in the country. So if you come into the country as the new minister, and there's really one big lever you can pull in the country, and that's mining. So we're really encouraged by the discussions about relaxation of legal challenges or bureaucracy that's gone around with the mining market. And we think that's going to be a big encouragement for pushing forward and helping us with permitting and opening up to international monies, which is desperately needed within the country. So, as the PEA gets done in Q1 of next year, then we go through the permitting process, which should take us about a year. If the government can accelerate that, that would be fantastic. So even along all those other big milestones, we still have drilling that's going to be done throughout that period. We have another 3 to 4 holes that will be out by year end. The election was great. Resource update, which would be fantastic. Commodity prices are in our sale behind us, and that's kind of it. I just maybe highlight. I should probably highlight this because it was a substantial discussion point with the U.S. government. Marco Rubio has come basically forward along with Donald Trump and said they're encouraged by the developments within Bolivia, and that they've already had kind of quasi discussions with the Bolivian government. You could say that prior to this, the relationship has been a little bit standoffish. Everybody's looking for strategic metals on a global basis. Bolivia's got tons of it. It's underexplored, underdeveloped. And if I just look at this from the Tin Association, there's basically only one tin development being done in the Americas, and that's Eloro Resources. And with that, I'll just leave it there.
Thank you, Chris. Wonderful. Talk about any studies. Are you waiting on any results?
So yeah, we'll be doing 3 more holes. So we have to do that in basically a group. So we've got a couple more holes yet to drill, and that's going to be done. Metallurgical work, we're doing some further metallurgical work, use the Tomara ore sorter. We're just running through samples again because they've changed the software, and we're trying to see the benefits of that. We're also looking at projects, payoff studies versus one form of processing versus the other. So those processing studies are kind of already pre-feasibility type level. So we're well beyond the PEA, but that's something we have time to do it now. We have the money. We raised 14 million at the beginning of September. So all of these things from a study perspective, we've kind of accelerated because we're pretty excited about what we see coming down the pike in the next 6 to 8 months.
And I'll let you end with this question. We have a few questions about the political environment, especially in Bolivia. So, can you talk about some of the political, maybe cultural limitations you might have?
Uh, so in our area, so first and foremost, doesn't matter where you are on a geographical basis. If you don't have social license from the local community, you're essentially screwed. And so we have over the last 2 years locked up every community member in the community groups around the mine. And so all the local communities have been signed up. Our landowner is the head of the local mining authority around there. So he has been fantastic from a standpoint of pushing what the benefits could be of our development within the community. And that is well known not only in the local level, but I can guarantee you it's been known at the larger level. I will say that Oswaldo Arce, our head of operations down there, has been asked to be the mines minister for the parties that were going through the election. He has still declined and still sticking with us. So everybody knows Oswaldo, everybody knows Edwin, everybody knows that we have our social license on the local area. So our plan is Tom, myself, and potentially a couple others are going to go down and meet with the president when he gets settled in and talk about what we can bring to the country from a growth perspective. So we haven't had any challenges other than the diesel shortages and U.S. dollar has made a little bit of a challenge from sourcing some equipment, but from a standpoint of harshness or tone or anything related to that, there has been none of that. We have not seen any of that in the 5 years that we've been operating in the country.
Good, fantastic. Good to hear. Well, thank you, Chris, for this informative update. Congrats. And
Thank
we
you.
certainly look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Well, that wraps our conference today, 2 days actually. In just a second, you'll be redirected to the registration page for our next conference. So please reserve your spot. On behalf of all of us, we want to thank our presenters and everyone watching to make this such a success. Remember, a complete replay of the conference will be available on our YouTube channel, and you can follow us on X at Emerging Growth C. I'm Anna Berry. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you again soon.